The Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort is one of the world's oldest operating roller coasters. But is it any good? The subject of the Grand National being good or bad at the Pleasure Beach is something that roller coaster enthusiasts have debated for a long time, a very, very long time, because some people absolutely love it and some people absolutely hate it. So, which one is it for you? Do you love the Grand National or do you hate the Grand National? Do let me know in the comment section below. I'll be very interested to read what everyone does think about the Grand National. One of the reasons people love the Grand National is nostalgia. Now, of course, there's going to be nostalgia attached to a roller coaster that opened in 1935 because we've all got different memories about when we first went on the Grand National. And it's likely that if you do love the Grand National, you've probably got nostalgic memories attached to it. Whereas if you don't like the Grand National, it's probably because you don't have any nostalgic memories of it. And the first time you did it, you probably just didn't like it. Whereas for a lot of people that love it, they've probably gone on it when they were young, with a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, or all of those people, or maybe a friend from school, and they've gone on it and they've absolutely loved it. And their first memories of this roller coaster are amazing, happy memories. And that is something that they just cannot get away from. And that is why they will always love the Grand National. Whereas the dislike and the hatred will probably come from people that don't have any nostalgia sort of attached to the Grand National and are going on it for the first time as teens or adults and going, well, I really don't like this thing. So this is why I think with the Grand National, it really is a case of you either love it or you hate it. For me, there is definitely nostalgia attached to the Grand National, and I still remember the first time I went on it. I remember being sat towards the back of the train. I'm pretty sure it was the purple and blue train with the old checkered jockey style sort of styling on the trains. And I remember the train departing the station, going round the corner on the right hand side towards the lift hill. And I just vaguely remember as the train turned out the station, my dad shouting, "Make sure you hold on at all times." And I'm there thinking, is it really that scary? Went down the first drop and I could completely understand why I was being told to hold on this ride. The airtime was phenomenal, like literally from start to finish, airtime. And it is still an airtime machine to this day. Whilst it is different than when I first went on it because of the trains, that first ride on it, I will always, always remember going down the first double drop and just getting flung out of my seat. And then every drop after it, insane airtime, flying round those corners at high speed. It was exceptional. I'd love to say that everything about the Grand National is fantastic and break into a song of everything is awesome. But I'm not going to do that because one, you don't want to hear me singing, and two, everything isn't awesome with the Grand National, unfortunately. So let's talk about the queuing experience for the Grand National. The queuing experience is not a great thing. I'm sure many people will know this, but it's worth a mention anyway. In 2004, Blackpool Pleasure Beach had a big fire in the Grand National station. At the time, this destroyed the station, the manual braking and operating system, and two of the trains. They did manage to get it back open for some of the 2004 season. 2005, they operated on reduced capacity with the old manual operating system that was reinstated, but from 2006 onwards, they had new trains, a new computerized system, and this completely changed the queuing experience from the Grand National and the riding experience too. As a result of the new computerized braking system and the new trains, which had got more restraints on it than the old trains, things have slowed down significantly with the operations of the Grand National. Now, this is through no fault of one person, one ride team, or any individual. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, it's a much slower process getting people on the ride and off the ride, and also it's not as efficient in the way that the trains are operated. For example, the reason on a 4-train service that you'll wait so long for the Grand National is because the 2 trains that have been loaded and are waiting to go cannot be dispatched until the 2 trains behind it have been fully cleared of any people and the station has been cleared of all guests. So even though it's on full capacity, it's actually not much more beneficial to Pleasure Beach to run it on 4 trains than 2 trains, because when it's on 2 trains, they could load the train and they could dispatch it. Whereas if it's on 4 trains, they've got to wait, for the 2 trains at the back to be fully cleared, the station fully cleared before they can dispatch the next trains. So it just becomes a slow and long process for everybody, guests, staff, and it is just quite frustrating. The queuing experience for the Grand National is pretty uncomfortable. Now, the reason for that is once you get into the station and into the queue line in the station, it's very narrow, it's very tight. You can't really stand and talk amongst yourselves because you kind of stood in single file. Even getting through like the wristband scanner or the e-ticket scanner as it is now is quite awkward. It's, you've got to do a bit of a swivel to get around it. It's just very, very tight station. There's not a lot of room and it just takes a while. You can be stood in the same spot for a long time. Now, again, this is through no fault of one particular person, one particular ride team. This is just the way the Grand National is because of the computerized braking system. The offload is not where the onload is, again, because of the design of the station. So the trains stop in offload, people get off. The trains then don't move forward until everyone in the station has cleared. Then the train takes its time to park in line with the air gates. Once the 2 trains on both sides have parked in line with the air gates and people are getting into the train, you then have the moments of confusion where people are looking, where can I put my bag? Because you have to take your bags on the Grand National. So the people are then looking at it going, well, where can I put my bag? Not realizing it's got to be by your feet. So then there's all that confusion of talking to staff members saying, well, can I leave my bag on the side? Which you can't do. Then you've got people forgetting that there's seat belts. So quite often people will pull down the lap bar, not realizing that they're sat on a seat belt. So then the lap bars have to be unlocked. Seat belts have to be done. Then all the lap bars have to be checked again. It is just a very long process for the staff, long process for people in the queue line, a very small queue line to be stood in. And overall, it is an unpleasant queuing experience and it does detract away from what the whole experience of the Grand National can be. So queuing experience over, you're on the Grand National, you're going round the ride. Some people love it, some people hate it. Yes, we're going back to that again because it is very subjective. Some people love the airtime. Some people love being thrown around by the Grand National. Some people love the racing element of it where you're going around the corners and everyone's got their arms out, sort of slapping hands as you're going round, racing with your mates and family on the other train. There is so many good things about the Grand National. For me, I still love the racing element of it. I love the airtime of it, but we cannot get away from the fact that it can be a very uncomfortable experience. It can be uncomfortable because of the trains. There's no doubt about it. The seating position on these trains is tight. Like in the middle of the seats, there is a big divider to separate the 2 seats. And then because everyone has got an individual lap bar, if that lap bar comes all the way down onto your legs as you're going around and gets really tight, then it will become uncomfortable airtime rather than enjoyable airtime towards the end of the ride. Because of the nostalgia attached to the Grand National, I will always want this ride to stay at the Pleasure Beach. But I do think that it probably needs a lot of money spending on it for it to continue to be operational at the Pleasure Beach. Is that something the Pleasure Beach are going to want to do going forward? That remains to be seen. At the time of recording, the Grand National is still open and operational. If you're watching this video in a couple of years' time from upload, it might well be closed or might be completely different. But for me, at the time of recording, what I'd really like to see is Pleasure Beach working with a company like the Gravity Group to completely redo the Grand National, strengthen the structure, give it a bit of a reprofile, but keep the essence of what it is, a classic wooden roller coaster with airtime, with high-paced corners, and with the racing element to it. If that was to happen, I'd be delighted, but something else would need to change too, and it's going back to the queuing experience. I'd like to see the queue line completely redesigned, maybe have the holding pens outside of the ride station building, and then just have it a case of there's proper queue pens either side of where the trains come out of the station, like there used to be. Back in the old days, there used to be a designated queue for each side of the Grand National. Maybe bring that back and make it less of a tight, cramped queuing experience inside the station building. If they were to do that, that would give them the opportunity to then create a designated speedy pass and easy pass queue line into the station too, so people who are using those don't have to queue up the exit of the ride and instead are going up through the center of the station, up the steps, and straight into the loading gates to get onto the ride, rather than having to wait in the exit area of the Grand National. So in my roller coaster review videos, I am ranking everything out of 10. This is a really difficult one because of the nostalgia attached to the Grand National. I really want to give it like a high score, but I've got to be realistic. There's probably a lot of things with the Grand National that do need to change in the modern era. It needs to be a bit smoother. It probably needs a better queuing experience, and it probably does need a full retrack. With that in mind and my nostalgia attached to it, I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. I could just imagine some of my friends being absolutely fuming with me right now for saying that, but I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. I still think it is a great wooden coaster, but there is so many things that need to change on it and improve on it. I can only give it a 6 at this moment in time. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you rank the Grand National out of 10? And do you love it or do you hate it? Do let me know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video here on Your Experience Guide, please do hit the like button. There's a little thumbs up below. Please comment as well. Please give us some hype points. It's a new thing here on YouTube. And please subscribe to Your Experience Guide. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.